Hey friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I just got back from the beach and I am a little bit toasty, as you can see. But we are gonna go over all of the books I read in March, and I read 10 books total, so let's get into it. The first book that I read was A Photo Finish by Elsie Silver. If you know me, I love Elsie Silver. I literally think I have all of her books up here except for the books in the first series that she's ever written. I have the first one, Off to the Races. But the first book I read was the book after Off to the Races, A Photo Finish. I did not like Off to the Races that much. I loved Photo Finish though. I would definitely recommend that book. It is about Violet. So if you have read the Chestnut Springs series, which is I think her most popular series right now, then you know who Violet Eaton is, and it is Violet's love story with Cole, and I ate it up. I loved it so much. It was he had a like tragic past, and she was just breaking out into the horse racing world, and they met online because that's like the only way he would connect with someone. But it was on like a place where she posted a nude photo. So, but it was really good. I definitely recommend it. Are we surprised that my second book I read was another Elsie Silver book? It was Wild Side. And this is from the, what's this one called? The Rose Hill series. This one is Wild Love, Wild Eyes, and Wild Side. I think Wild Side might be my favorite of the three. It is a marriage of convenience. It is one of her heavier books because it has Off-Page Addiction from Tabitha, the FMC's sister. And so basically this book comes together because Reese was Tabby's sister's neighbor, and so he looked after her son a lot, and so she left custody of her son to Reese in the will, but Tabitha was not about to let that happen, so she fought him for it, and he didn't want to give up custody without knowing that the son was in a good situation. So it was a marriage of convenience. He actually ended up being a wrestler, and if you like wrestling, you know who Roman Reigns is, and so they compare him to Roman Reigns in this. I'm obsessed with Roman Reigns because my husband likes wrestling. I'm just saying, like, I didn't think a wrestling MMC was something I was, like, into, but, like, definitely recommend. The third book I read was Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I like Lucy Score, but I'm noticing a recurrent theme to where I don't love her MMCs. So on our podcast, we do a segment when we do our book clubs that we all pick books for each other and put them in a jar and do like a little TBR jar. And so we each pick books for the other person. And I pulled this book out that Katarina picked for me. And don't get me wrong, it was good. I gave it 3 stars. I would say maybe. But, what's his name? I don't even remember the dude's name. Knox, I think it is. Knox. He was a douche canoe. Like, I have never met such a walking red flag out of a book in my life. He was so possessive. He, like, one thing that just gave me the ick was he just kept choking her, like, the back of her neck, like, holding her neck after they got busted by her parents, you know, the morning after. And, like, wouldn't let go. If anybody ever did that to me in front of my dad, they'd be laid out. I'm just saying. I don't know. I got the ick from Knox. Now, his brother, I liked his brother. So, I think if the main characters were switched, I would have enjoyed this more. I enjoyed literally every other character. So, that's why I'd say maybe. Because I enjoyed every other character and I enjoyed the story. I hated the MMC. Then I read the Book of Azrael. I've never read a dark romantasy before, so this would be my first one. I loved it so much. So this was very different than any other fantasy really that I've read recently, which is good because I was getting kind of bored, so I haven't been reading much fantasy because they're all the same. But Diana in this one, she is the morally gray one, and she is great. And Liam, Sam Keel, whatever you want to say his name, she calls him Liam. But I love their relationship so much. Their relationship is very green flag. I would say the dark romance aspect comes into play with the events surrounding them, I guess. And I was saying to one of my friends that the guy she was with before Liam reminds me of Kai from the Vampire Diaries. Oh no, he just seems like that to me. But I really enjoyed this. He is the most cinnamon roll, like burn down the world for her MMC I've ever met, and I love him so much. So definitely recommend this. I think there's 3 other books out, and it's going to be like a 7-book series. So then I read Binding 13. Okay, Binding 13 is a lot to a normal person, but having gone through a lot of these issues as a child, it was heavy. Now, this is our book club book for our podcast. We do a book club, or we pick a book every week. We pick 3, and then we send them out to y'all, and y'all pick. And y'all chose Binding 13. Now, I have been wanting to read this. I didn't, and I knew kind of going in what it was about. I just didn't think it would be that descriptive. And so I'm kind of awkward on our podcast about it because socially awkward situations just make me laugh. Anyways, it was a really good podcast. It was very heavy. This book is very heavy. It's very good, very well written. I will say that. But maybe because it's a lot. If you've been through abuse as a child, I don't recommend it because it'll stir up a lot. But it's necessary, I feel like, to show people kind of. This book is very good at showing people what it was like if you grew up in that. I'll say that. Then I needed something light after all of that. So I read The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. It's a very short story. I read it in like an hour and a half. It has an audiobook attached to it on Kindle Unlimited. So if you wanted to immersive read it, you could. It was very cute. It had a like stalker in it. Like she was being stalked. And it was just, I don't know how she wrote a whole entire story into like 100 pages. But it was really good. I wish it was a full story. I'll take anything I can get from Abby Jimenez, though. Yes, read it. And then I read When Alec Met Evie. It's so cute. If you want a hockey romance, but you don't want any of the spice, I like either one. I like spice and I like no spice. So if you want one with no spice, I highly recommend this series by Jenny Proctor and Emma St. Clair. It follows the Appies hockey team. And it basically just goes through all of the hockey team, and they all find love, and it's so cute. They're really like lighthearted and fluffy with 0 spice, so it's nice. Then I got introduced to my new binge author right now, Catherine Cowles. I read Fragile Sanctuary, and then I went ahead and immediately read Delicate Escape. Obsessed. Honestly, I go into books very blind. Don't read a bunch about them. I just kind of go into it. And this was I knew it was a romance, but I didn't know it was like a romantic suspense thriller type thing. I'm not very into thrillers because I have enough anxiety and I just don't need to add more anxiety to my life. But I didn't know I loved romantic thrillers. Like, if there's more romance than thriller plot, I'm good. And so she writes that. It's great. I never see anything coming of, like, who it ends up being in the end. Fragile Sanctuary was like a murder mystery type thing with a serial killer. And, yeah, I can't give too much away without giving who it might be. Anyways, I definitely recommend you read her books. I gave them all 4.5 stars. So, and then the last book I read was The Strawberry Patch Pancake House. Okay, this book, they all look very cute and fluffy, and this was like a good spring read, but it was my least favorite of the series. I read all of them. The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, the bookstore one, the Christmas Tree Farm. I've read them all. This was my least favorite. I don't know. It was just like Single Dad Nanny, which is, I love Single Dad Nanny, but the end of it, I can't say what it is because it's like a major spoiler. It just gave me the ick, and it felt rushed, and it felt like they were forced to be together, kind of. Anyways, I'd say if you've read the other ones in the series, then yes, go for it and read it. But if you haven't, then I don't think it's very worth it. But yeah, those are all the books that I read in March. If you liked this content, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We are working on putting out a lot of stuff for y'all, so stay tuned. Bye.